You have a very lucid memory of the village, people. Have you always been aware of history, local history, or history perhaps?
I suppose after I joined the parish council, that's 51 years ago, 52 years ago now, I took a much more, after the war I came back from the Royal Marines, and I was very friendly with Richard Ingle, Dick as we always knew him. There used to be three of us, Dick Ingle, Eric Harper and myself. We were the three musketeers, and we used to bike all over everywhere. We had no other means of transport. And Dick became parish clerk, and he very much persuaded me to join the parish council. And so I joined in April 1948. And I've been on it consistently ever since. In fact, I've done about 20 years in the chair, two stints of about 10 years.
So you were quite young for parish council, really?
I was very young, and no one wanted to take the chair at that time because there was practically all new ones. There was Bernie Martin, Charlie Baker, myself, the teacher's husband, Claude Beckett, as we knew him, Claude Huddlestone. And no one wanted the chair, but we managed to persuade Charlie Baker to take it for the first year, and then they pushed me in the chair after that.
Charlie was a carpenter, wasn't he?
Oh, he was a carpenter. He was quite good at it, and he got some marquetry, which he was proud of, and he was quite artistic with his marquetry.
Did he make the village notice board?
Yes, he built his own village home.
He built the house in Pettit's Lane, didn't he?
He built a bungalow there, yes. Yeah, all in wood. It was built the whole thing himself. Before he would marry Ada, she was Ada Hobbs, and Mr. Hobbs was a foreman for Hooley at Scotland Farm at that time, and they used to call them the terrible twins because you never saw one without the other. Mr. Hooley would go around and he'd say, "What do you think, Hobbs?" And Hobbs would always agree with him.
I remember Jack Day, my father-in-law, used to deliver the newspapers, but when he got the Charlie Bakers, he always seemed to stay longer. And he always came home a little bit
Tiddly.
tiddly.
These things have been known to happen. We used to have an allotment association here, and there was a garden competition at Scotland Farm in particular. I used to have a competition between all the houses up there. It was Broach, I think, was the farm foreman at that time. And the old shepherd up there and his lady were dab hands at homemade wine. They always won the garden competition, and the Charlie Baker and Ron Harper, who used to do the judging, always came home tiddly.
That was standard practice then, John. What do you think was the most important event in local history or national history that affected you, or that you really became aware of?
I was working on the land, you see, and reserved for a time.
Yes.
And I got called up in 1943, went down to Limpston.
Still there?
It is, just outside, between Exeter and Exmouth.
Yes.
And quite several of us turned up at the little old station on a sideline there at the time, and they lined us up and let's have some soldiers out, to make some soldiers out of. We marched up to the barracks, and we marched up there, and they found that I'd got muscles I never knew existed before, yet I thought I was fit. I always remember my first meal there. We went into the mess, and they tin plates, and they served us with a sausage and tomato. But the tomato consisted of a little bit of red liquid running around on the plate with a few pips in it.
Used to call that train smash in the
The sausage was in the middle.
If you had to name 6 characters who lived in this village, run through your mind of 6 characters.
Well, there's 2 outstanding ones, Reg Thompson and Charlie Searle. They are 2 of the most outstanding in this village.
Yes.
But there had been some previously. I mean, old Josh Markham was quite a character. I know my father said he went there one day and he was paunching a rabbit. He said, "Well, you're paunching a rabbit, Josh?" "No," he said, "I'm disemboweling it."
So paunching means disemboweling.
Oh, yes, yeah, taking the innards out of a rabbit.
Paunching, yes.
And I know they said that old Josh, popular songs weren't so familiar then as they are today, but he used to do a lot of thatching. And old Jeff Webb, who died just recently, he worked at Scotland Farm, but he had to retire because he was head up with rheumatism or arthritis or something. He was the serving lad to Josh. And he said Josh would spend all day singing hymns as he was putting the thatch on the top of the stacks and that. It was hymns that he sang.
Character.
He was a character. And I think Blackett was a character as well, the old village carpenter. He didn't approve of other people's carpentry, so he built his own coffin, and rather than store it under the bed, he set it up endways and turned it into a bookshelf.
Did he go to his rest in it?
I suppose he did. Yeah. But there was individuals, I think today we're all cut to a common denominator. We all see the same films, we see on television, we read the same newspapers, we converse with each other when we do in a common tongue. Well, years ago, there was individuals. Even old Percy Ingle was quite a character.
Yes.
He would make his green ointments and special treatments for different illnesses.
I remember Reg Thompson. I remember going into the Three Horseshoes in the back room and being asked to move back from the bar because he used to watch the television in the mirror.
He did. He always sat back to the television, but he could watch it in the mirror. Yeah. That was quite an innocuous experience. I'd done the electoral roll one year, and I went to Regis because he didn't fill in his form. And I got just to the door, or nearly to the door, when the door opened, and a pot of beery urine swept across the path right in front of me. If I'd have been a yard further forward, I should have got the full benefit of it.
Was that his way of disposing of it?
I suppose so. He just opened the gate at the back there where he lived and wanged it across the yard.
But didn't a relation or his daughter or somebody live close by?
His sister.
His sister.
Mrs.
Brightwell?
Mrs. Brightwell was his sister.
She was very different to her brother, wasn't she?
Oh, yes. But then there was 3 sisters, I believe, and they was all rather superior.
Yes.
And I know people have said they used to go along Sunday evenings with all with the new hats and bits on to church to show off what they got. He lost one sister. She got drowned in a pond where the first bungalow around Pettit's Lane there. And he daren't go home because his mother was giving birth to another child at that very moment.
Lord.
And by the time they got the girl out, she was drowned.